Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. The defense for Derek Chauvin has officially rested after calling several witnesses over the past few days. But the former officer himself announced today he would not be taking the stand. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest in our top story at 5.
For the first time, Derek Chauvin spoke out in the courtroom as he decided not to testify in his own murder trial.
I will invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege today.
The medical examiner who performed George Floyd's autopsy officially deemed his death a homicide. But Wednesday, forensic pathologist Dr. David Howler, called by Derek Chauvin's defense team, says he believes it was actually undetermined and that drugs and heart issues played a big part.
How did the heart and drugs contribute to the cause of death?
They were significant.
Dr. Fowler arguing carbon monoxide from the police cruiser's tailpipe may have also been a factor, the prosecution putting up a fight.
You haven't seen any data or test results that showed Mr. Floyd had a single injury from carbon monoxide. Is that true?
That is correct, because it was never sent to the laboratory for that test.
I asked you whether it was true, sir. Yes or no?
It is true.
Today, the prosecution calling a rebuttal witness after the defense rested its case.
As to the statement that his carboxyhemoglobin could have increased by 10 to 18%, in your view, that's not possible.
It's simply wrong.
And it was at most 2%.
At most 2%.
Normal.
Which is normal.
Closing arguments are set for Monday. The jury will then be sequestered and deliberations will begin. Another former Minnesota police officer made her first court appearance today. Kim Potter is charged with second-degree manslaughter in the traffic stop shooting. Now, her former chief of police says it appears she confused her taser with her handgun. The victim, Dante Wright, was pulled over for expired tags. Police then tried to arrest him after discovering he had an outstanding warrant. He failed to appear in court on charges that he fled officers and possessed a gun without a permit last June. And the man accused of killing Molly Tibbetts almost 3 years ago now appeared in court today. Christian Rivera's case has been delayed multiple times because of the pandemic. Today marks his first day back in court in more than a year. He's accused of killing Tibbetts and hiding her body in a cornfield near Guernsey back in 2018. Rivera's jury trial officially begins on May 17th in Davenport. The Iowa House has passed its Back the Blue bill, but with some major changes. Republicans added several measures, including felony charges for destruction of property, defining rioting as 3 or more people assembling and becoming violent, and qualified immunity for police, which is essentially more legal protection. Those against it say there was no bipartisan discussion.
I have to vote no on this, not because of the whole bill, but because we reacted in several of the other parts of this bill. When are we going to start talking to one another when we decide to craft laws that affect this state?
This bill now heads to the Republican-controlled Senate. A special blood drive hosted by the Red Cross happened today at the YMCA. The blood drive was originally scheduled in December but was canceled due to inclement weather. Joe Durham with the American Red Cross says it is safe to give blood right after you've gotten a vaccine, just as long as there are no negative side effects from it or from the virus itself. And they are in desperate need of more donors now.
The level of need right now is an urgent need. We are low on blood supplies, and there's a lot of factors in that. Farmers are in the fields, other things that have gone on in the area where the blood demand comes up. We believe the donors are not to the level of they were prior to COVID.
There will be 2 blood drives again in the next couple of months, and you can contact the American Red Cross to get yourself registered. And we have an update tonight on the hundreds of thousands of gallons of manure spilled in northwest Iowa near Rock Rapids yesterday. That spill started at the Rock Bottom Dairy when it then flowed into the fields and creeks, eventually killing thousands of fish. Bernie Baker owns that dairy farm and reported the incident. He says the cause is due to an irrigation unit that became stuck. The Iowa Department of Natural Resources is currently investigating. They recommend livestock producers who depend on Mud Creek as a water source to check stream conditions for the next few days. And it's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson standing by. Scott, you could see from that footage not exactly a sunny day, and you also can't tell how cool it was.
Yeah, hardly any sunshine at all out there today, Sophie. We've had mostly cloudy skies. It's been relatively cold for mid-April, with high temperatures largely in the 40s. Reported in Siouxland, only 40 degrees in O'Neill, 44 Sioux City, 46 this afternoon in Storm Lake, 51 in Spencer. Low temperatures tonight expected to dip close to the freezing mark, including 34 in Sioux City, staying just warm enough to prevent us from seeing any snow showers. It looks like as we go into tomorrow afternoon, we'll have some light rain with us, and then that'll start to dissipate as we head into Saturday morning. Pretty meager amounts of rain. We'll talk more about that and when some sunshine returns to the forecast in a few minutes. Sophie?
Thanks, Scott. The Boy Scouts of America Mid-American Council will be having their annual Scouting for Food food drive. That's to help support the work that the Food Bank of Siouxland does. The executive director of the food bank says that right now the need in our community is greater than ever before because of the pandemic. And this Saturday, Scouts will go to homes to collect non-perishable food items left out for them. In this week's edition of Siouxland Stories, we're focusing on another kind of scouting. And Tim joins me now with that explanation. Tim?
Indeed. And hard work is still part of this story. It's just a little bit different and on a different level. Basketball coaches will tell you that it's sometimes easy to pick talent that's maybe got some pro potential. But there are many ways to make an impact in the NBA. And a former Sioux City Prep is proving that point.
The maple timbers that make up a basketball court offer a neutral and unbiased stage for competition.
His ability to get along with the highest paid player and the general manager and the owner, and obviously the head coach. Those are all things you better be able to do or you don't last very long.
Winning can be defined in many ways.
When I was in high school, I saw my basketball career ending after high school. As a high school player, I was not envisioning being anywhere in the NBA.
But he is. And the unexpected path that 2012 Sioux City East High graduate Andrew Munson took to the NBA actually starts 20 years ago at his dad's side.
I would not have had any inkling of trying to make some kind of career in basketball without my dad building that love for the game. My teams, fortunately, were very good. That allowed me to come in at the end and shoot a lot of threes.
That was NBA range on that one.
I had a lot of fun with the entire team.
In college, Munson was on the bench again, this time as manager.
We did have some guys in from my high school a little older than me who became managers in college. So that kind of gave me an idea. They were able to kind of help me get that manager spot at Iowa. And now I'm here.
Here is at the top level of the NBA Denver Nuggets front office.
And the crowd goes crazy.
So my official title is Special Assistant to the Head Coach.
He's so valuable, and it's not just me saying that. If you asked any of the coaches, Munson is he's a jack of all trades. If you need something done, he's not only going to get the job done, but you know it's going to be done at a very high level. He's committed, his work ethic is outstanding, and this year, more than any, he's been really influential with their offense.
The 27-year-old Munson is in his 5th season with 2020 Western Conference runner-up Denver.
My main responsibilities is to help Coach Malone, the assistant coaches, get all the game film, help them prep for their scouting reports. You know, we play this year 72 games. I'm not a math major, but that's a lot of games to get of the other teams that we're about to play.
In season, Munson says he'll spend as many as 100 hours a week on the job, practicing, traveling, and watching a lot of video.
Then during the game, I'm back in the office breaking down the game as we get it. So I'm labeling all of our play calls, the opponent's play calls, any kind of stats or any kind of marking that can kind of help.
Not the fastest or strongest player, Munson has always scored points from the cerebral side of the game.
You can tell a kid like that, his academic background's incredible. I've always thought he should be on Wall Street, not the NBA, but he's doing pretty good.
You know, when I first got into the NBA, it felt really overwhelming. It felt like almost a new, it's a completely different sport. With the Nuggets, I felt really grateful to have that base from my high school coaches that kind of helped ground me when it felt a little overwhelming.
The stage may be bigger.
It did take, a year or two to kind of feel like I understood basketball-wise what was going on.
But the environment, Munson says, amazingly similar.
It doesn't feel like you're coming to work with a bunch of NBA superstars. It feels just like it did when I was coming to practice for for Coach Vanderloo at Sioux City East.
What's ahead for Munson is unknown, just like the journey that delivered him to the pinnacle of basketball.
I try and take it kind of one step at a time. And, you know, big picture, I'd love to kind of keep moving up, you know, become an assistant coach, a head coach someday if I'm lucky enough. I think back about that little kid sitting behind the bench, and if I would have told that kid that he was going to be working for the Denver Nuggets in the NBA, you know, he would have been pretty happy. So.
Now, Munson's team is headed to the playoffs. They're fourth in the Western Conference. But earlier this week, they suffered a big blow when standout Jamal Murray suffered an ACL injury, and he's done. He won't be back. So the road might be a little rougher.
Might be, but a pretty incredible story from a man that grew up right here in Siouxland. Thanks for that, Tim.
Doing well.
He really is. Well, court packing, not a basketball court. It's a term thrown around during election cycles, and the recent debate on whether or not to add seats to the Supreme Court is swirling. The latest from D.C. coming up.
And we can expect to have some light rain chances in the near future here. Very pleasant weather on Sunday, so that's a highlight in the forecast. It does look like it's going to stick to the cooler side next week. Your 9 on 9 forecast straight ahead.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Thank you very much. A great picture there. If you have one of your own, go to SiouxlandProud.com and upload it there. You just have to go to the weather tab and scroll down to send us your photos. We'd be happy to show them right here on air.
All right, that is a beautiful shot. It looks like a warm weather shot, which I like.
It does, yeah. We did have some warmer weather back around Easter, but it's been a while, Sophie.
It really has. Thanks a lot, Scott. Well, Siouxland real estate agents are working hard to help local children tonight. Through a partnership with St. Luke's Children's Miracle Network, people at RE/MAX Preferred are becoming Siouxland's first miracle agents. To see how their support with helping Siouxland children in need of care is working, in this digital exclusive story online right now, of course, that is SiouxlandProud.com, or you can click on the featured content tab on our really newly redesigned mobile app. And based off their own experiences, some 11th graders needed a better way to rent expensive technology. Their winning solution coming up, but first, in Washington, D.C., a proposal to expand the Supreme Court bench, but some worry the highest court is losing trust from people. What lawmakers say coming up next. A group of House and Senate Democrats have introduced a bill tonight which would expand the number of seats on the Supreme Court, but not everyone's on board. KCAU 9's Washington correspondent Basil John reports on how other lawmakers are reacting.
I have no plans to bring it to the floor now.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's not ready to back new court expansion legislation.
I support the president's commission to study such a proposal.
President Biden has created a bipartisan commission to study expanding the high court. The Judiciary Act of 2021 would increase the size of the U.S. Supreme Court from 9 to 13 justices. New York Congressman Jerry Nadler says as the country grows, so too should the Supreme Court.
Our founders understood that as the country and the judicial system evolve, the court needs to evolve with it.
Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey says Republicans have done damage to the judicial branch, making Americans lose faith in the high court.
And make no mistake about it, the court is broken because leader Mitch McConnell, his Senate Republican colleagues, and Donald Trump broke it.
But Republicans, like South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, say this is a terrible idea.
You make the Supreme Court basically a political football. It loses its independence, its consistency.
And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says it is an attempt to threaten current Supreme Court justices.
And responsible people across the political spectrum have an absolute duty to denounce this.
Well, creatives on a budget often turn to renting camera equipment, and a group of teenagers is making it even easier with an award-winning app. We'll show you how it works next. 3 high school juniors are being nationally recognized for an app they developed. Megan Gannon shows us how they saw a need and created a solution.
Rent-a-thon is an app where users can either rent items or rent out items to other people.
It's a person-to-person platform. Essentially allows users to rent out photography and digital
equipment to each other.
Starting with a focus on photography, the app is aimed at teenagers or young adults who can't afford to buy expensive equipment.
And so having some sort of way to rent products for given periods of time, because it doesn't really justify the high cost of purchasing a single lens if you're only going to use it for a single project.
Taking about a year and a half to get the app right, Rent-a-thon was the winner of the 2020 National Congressional App Challenge for Florida's 12th Congressional District.
I'm so impressed with the grit and perseverance that all three of you showed on that journey and how you were able to improve the app over a year and a half.
Like, we got a lot of feedback, a lot of experts who really helped us out and gave us a lot of feedback on this. So it was a great journey.
As the creators move forward with the app, they look forward to growing it to reach different industries.
So the music industry we're thinking about expanding to, and a bunch of different industries that we really want to expand to other than the photography market as we build that strong customer base within the photography sector.
Taking a live look outside right now in downtown Sioux City, Scott returns with one more check on your forecast. Join KCAU 9 and Siouxland OBGYN for our 7th annual Stuff the Stroller Drive.
Thanks to KCAU 9's support, we provided supplies to thousands of Siouxland families.
Drop off your donation of diapers, wipes, and other baby necessities at local Hy-Vee stores.
And before we wrap up at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi again, Tim.
Hey, thanks, Sophie. Half of South Dakota's population has now been vaccinated against the coronavirus. That's impressive, but there's concern tonight over how those numbers break down. We'll take a look at that coming up tonight at 6. Also, in just a half an hour, helping rebuild roads and bridges, expanding broadband internet, and creating jobs are all part of President Biden's infrastructure project. So why would the Iowa Association of Business and Industry oppose the more than $2 trillion proposal? We'll take a look at that as well after World News Tonight. And you may have heard of the competition for crowns here in Iowa, best burger, best tenderloin, but there's also competition now, a new one, the best pulled pork. Found out how one Iowa community has rallied together to get a local eatery, one of the top prizes. That's ahead as well, coming up at 6 o'clock. Sophie, we may need a road trip.
I think that would be fun. A bunch of us can get in the car and get some dinner. That looked delicious.
I'll take one of each.
I was going to say, not the best night for a barbecue.
No, not so much, Sophie. Kind of cold out there. We're seeing some light drizzle and showers. It looks like as we go into the weekend, we'll see some nicer weather come back on Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for joining us. We'll both see you back here tonight at 6. Until then, good night.